You think you're living, but are you? Most of us move through life chasing success, approval and comfort, yet deep down, something feels missing. Carl Jung believed that this emptiness comes from one simple truth. We have never truly met ourselves. Until you confront your inner world, your fears, your shadows, your forgotten desires, you're only surviving, not living. True life begins the moment you stop running from who you are and start listening to the person within. You see, my friends, there comes a moment in every person's life when the noise of the world grows so loud that we can no longer hear the quiet voice within. We are taught from a young age to chase after things, titles, possessions, recognition, as if they will somehow make us whole. But what if I told you that the real beginning of life doesn't start when you achieve something out there, but when you turn inward and discover who you really are? Because the truth is, until you know yourself, you're merely existing, not truly living. We move through our days wearing masks, playing roles that the world has assigned us. We try to be the good student, the successful worker, the perfect partner, the strong one who never falters. But beneath those layers, beneath the expectations and the fears, there lies a deeper self, a self that longs to be seen, to be heard, to be lived, and yet we avoid it, don't we? We fear that if we truly meet ourselves, we might not like what we find. We fear the pain, the imperfections, the parts of us we've buried under years of pretending. But I say to you tonight that meeting yourself truly, deeply, honestly is not something to fear. It is the only way to be free. The journey of self-discovery is not glamorous. It's not something that earns applause or medals. It's a quiet revolution that begins in the soul. It starts the moment you dare to stop running from your own reflection. When you sit in silence and listen, not to the voices around you, but to the voice within, you begin to sense something sacred stirring. That's the birth of consciousness, the awakening of life itself. You begin to realize that your worth was never tied to what you do or what others think of you. It was there all along, waiting for you to remember. But the world doesn't make it easy. The world tells you to stay busy, to stay distracted. It tells you that your value comes from your productivity, from how much you can give or achieve. It rewards your mask, not your truth. And so, most people never take that inward journey. They stay at the surface, afraid to look deeper. But I tell you, there's a kind of life waiting beyond that fear, a life filled with meaning, peace, and authenticity. And once you taste it, you can never go back to the hollow life of imitation. When you begin to know yourself, you stop being a stranger in your own skin. You begin to walk differently. You speak differently. There's a quiet power in you, a confidence that doesn't come from arrogance, but from alignment. You stop chasing what doesn't belong to you and start attracting what does. You begin to live with intention rather than reaction. The chaos of the world doesn't shake you the same way because you've found something unshakable within. This journey of meeting yourself isn't a destination. It's a lifelong unfolding. Each experience, each heartbreak, each triumph reveals a little more of who you are. And the more you know yourself, the more you begin to see others clearly too. Compassion grows, understanding deepens, and love becomes less about possession and more about presence. So, if you truly wish to live, not merely to survive, begin there. Look within, face what you've been avoiding, let the masks fall away, one by one. There's no greater adventure, no higher calling, than to meet the person you've been running from, yourself. Because, my friends, life does not truly begin when the world sees you. It begins when you finally see yourself. My friends, there comes a time when you must stand before the mirror of your own soul and face the truth that lies beneath the surface. We spend much of our lives gazing outward, trying to fix the world, trying to control what others think of us, trying to shape our destiny through force and ambition. But what we fail to realize is that the outer world is only a reflection of the inner one. The storms you face out there are often the echoes of the conflicts you've ignored within, and until you have the courage to face your unconscious, those hidden parts of yourself that whisper in the dark, you will remain a stranger to your own life. The unconscious is not some distant, mysterious realm meant only for scholars or mystics. It is the vast and living landscape beneath your waking mind, the reservoir of everything you've ever felt, feared, or forgotten. It holds the pieces of you that you've pushed aside, the pain you refused to feel, the dreams you abandoned, the anger you denied, the love you never allowed yourself to express. And the longer you run from it, the louder it calls. It shows up in your choices, your habits, your relationships, and even in your silence. You think you are in control, but it is the unseen self that steers the wheel when you refuse to look at it. Facing your unconscious is not an act of weakness. It is an act of profound courage. It means being willing to sit with the discomfort, to ask yourself the hard questions, to look at the parts of your heart you've kept hidden, even from yourself. It means saying, yes, this too is me. Your insecurities, your jealousy, your doubts, your guilt. These are not signs that you are broken. They are signs that you are human. And when you bring them into the light, when you meet them with honesty rather than shame, something miraculous begins to happen. They lose their power over you. Most people spend their lives building walls to keep the unconscious at bay. They drown it with distractions. They numb it with noise. They pretend it isn't there. But you cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot find peace while waging war against yourself. The path to wholeness begins the moment you stop denying your own depths and start exploring them, for it is in that dark soil that your roots grow. It is there, in the shadow, that the seeds of your strength and wisdom are planted. When you face your unconscious, you come to understand why you do what you do. You see the patterns that have kept you bound, the fears that have held you back, and suddenly, life begins to make sense. You stop blaming others, because you see that every encounter, every wound, every moment of pain has been a reflection of something within you, calling to be understood. That awareness doesn't make you perfect. It makes you free. You become more forgiving, not only toward others, but toward yourself. This is not an easy journey. There will be days when the darkness feels overwhelming, when you question who you are, and whether you can bear what you find. But I promise you, the light you discover on the other side of that confrontation will be brighter than anything you've known. Because when you face your unconscious, you awaken the full spectrum of your being. You begin to live from your whole self, not just the part you show the world. And that is where authenticity is born, not in pretending to be pure, but in embracing your wholeness. So don't be afraid of the darkness within you. Don't be afraid to meet your shadow, to listen to its voice, to understand its purpose, for only by facing what lies beneath can you rise above it. Only by embracing the unseen self can you become who you were always meant to be. Because, my friends, when you have the courage to face your unconscious, you no longer live half a life, you begin to live a true one. My friends, there's a truth that many spend their entire lives running from, the truth that wholeness is not about being perfect, it's about being complete. And to be complete, you must embrace both your light and your shadow. The world teaches us to polish the bright parts of ourselves, our talents, our kindness, our achievements, and to hide the rest in the dark. We learn early on that we must smile even when we're breaking, that we must be strong even when we are scared, that we must show only the parts of ourselves that make others comfortable. But in doing so, we divide our soul. We live in halves, celebrating our light while burying the very darkness that gives that light its meaning. You see, your shadow is not your enemy. It is not something to be feared or denied. It is the part of you that holds your raw humanity, your pain, your flaws, your anger, your desires. It is everything you've been told to suppress in order to be loved, accepted, and safe. But there can be no light without shadow, no sunrise without night. To reject your darkness is to reject the fullness of your being. And when you live like that, something within you quietly dies. The part that knows how to feel deeply, how to dream boldly, how to love fiercely. We often think the shadow makes us unworthy, but in truth, it is what makes us real. It's the place where compassion is born. Because when you face your own brokenness, you begin to understand the struggles of others. You stop judging, because you know what it's like to fall. You stop pretending, because you've made peace with what's inside you. The integration of light and shadow doesn't make you perfect, it makes you whole. It allows you to live honestly, without the constant weight of pretending to be someone you're not. But to integrate these parts, you must first have the courage to look within and acknowledge them. Don't condemn your anger. Ask what it's trying to protect. Don't reject your sadness. Ask what it's trying to heal. Every shadow emotion is a messenger, pointing you toward a deeper truth about yourself. If you run from it, it grows darker. But if you face it with awareness and compassion, it becomes your greatest teacher. Through that confrontation, the light within you becomes stronger, not because it destroys the darkness, but because it learns to hold it. And isn't that what it truly means to be human? To contain contradictions, to be both gentle and fierce, strong and vulnerable, joyful and sorrowful, and to hold them all with grace. When you integrate your shadow, you stop fighting yourself. You no longer see life as a battle between good and evil within you, but as a dance between opposites. You begin to move in harmony with yourself, not against yourself. That inner peace radiates outward. It touches your relationships, your work, your very presence. People can feel it. They can sense that you are real, grounded, whole. The world doesn't need more people who wear masks of perfection. It needs people who are fully alive, people who have walked through their darkness and come out with light in their eyes, people who have faced their own chaos and turned it into wisdom. When you embrace both sides of your nature, you stop fearing yourself. And when you no longer fear yourself, there is nothing in the world that can truly control you. So my friends, don't strive to be perfect, strive to be whole. Embrace your contradictions, your flaws, your scars. Let your light shine, but let your shadow speak too. For only when both walk together, hand in hand, can you know what it truly means to live. Because wholeness is not found in denying your darkness, it's found in loving it. There comes a moment, my friends, when life will demand something greater from you, something deeper than comfort, something more honest than the image you show to the world. That moment is when you finally meet yourself. And make no mistake, meeting yourself is not a gentle encounter. It is not a pleasant afternoon stroll through the gardens of your mind. It is a trembling, awakening, shattering realization that everything you thought you were may have only been a fraction of the truth. Because meeting yourself means standing before the mirror of your soul and seeing both the beauty and the brokenness staring back. Many people go through life never daring to take that step. They live behind roles, identities and expectations, mistaking the noise of survival for the music of living. They follow the path laid out by others, speak words that are not their own, and chase dreams that were never born from their own heart. But when the masks begin to crumble, when life shakes you to your core, when the familiar falls away and you are left alone with your thoughts, that is when the true meeting begins. It is in that silence, that stillness, where the real you begins to whisper, I have been here all along. To meet yourself is to face truth, not the truth others tell about you, but the one your soul has been trying to speak since the beginning. It means recognizing that the life you've been living may not be the one you truly desire. It means confronting the pain you've avoided, the dreams you've abandoned, the voice you've silenced. And it's not easy, because when you meet yourself, you must also meet your regrets, your fears, your contradictions. You see the ways you've betrayed yourself for acceptance, the times you stayed silent when your heart longed to speak, the moments you chose safety over authenticity. Yet in that raw honesty lies liberation. Transformation is never comfortable, because it requires you to shed the layers that once protected you. It asks you to step into the unknown, to let go of the identities that no longer fit, and to stand bare before your own being. But within that discomfort is the seed of rebirth. You begin to understand that the pain of losing your old self is nothing compared to the joy of discovering your real one. Every great awakening begins with a breaking, not to destroy but to rebuild with truth as the foundation. And once you've met yourself, truly met yourself, life changes in ways words can hardly describe. You no longer move through the world out of fear or approval. You stop seeking validation from others, because you've already been witnessed by the one who matters most, your own soul. You begin to make choices that align with your essence, not your ego. You find strength in solitude, meaning in silence, and direction from within. The chaos around you no longer has the power to shake you, because you have met the calm within. This meeting with yourself is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong conversation. You will meet new versions of yourself as you grow, as you fail, as you love, and as you heal. Each encounter will bring you closer to wholeness, closer to authenticity, closer to that quiet joy that comes from simply being who you are meant to be. So do not fear the moment when life brings you face to face with yourself. Do not run from it. Do not distract yourself from it. Stand in it. Let it undo you, because on the other side of that undoing is freedom. The kind of freedom no one can give you and no one can take away. Because, my friends, you don't truly live until you meet yourself. And once you do, you will never be the same again. So, my friends, when the noise fades and the masks fall away, dare to stand in that sacred silence and face the truth of who you are. Not the person the world expects you to be, but the one your soul has been waiting for you to remember. That meeting, raw, honest, and unshakably real, is where life truly begins. Because the greatest journey you will ever take is not across oceans or mountains, but into the depths of your own being. And when you finally meet yourself there, you will understand that you were never lost. You were only waiting to be found.